Tom, can you just give us a little brief overview about the plans and what's going to be developed at the City Ground?
Yeah, well, I've been working now actually quietly in the background for 18 months, and the vision of Mr Marinakis has been clear that we've got to make sure the City Ground is fit for purpose for the next generation, look back at its heritage, make sure we embrace what was happened before, but make this a world-class facility. And his vision has been very clear. We're staying at the City Ground. It's a great place to watch football. Monday night proved that against Derby, and what we're going to see is revolutionised, not just one stand, but the whole stadium will be something really quite special.
And what will the redevelopment mean for the supporters and also for the people of Nottingham?
Well, I think first of all, the people of Nottingham is a fantastic opportunity to generate revenue locally, but also jobs during both the construction, but for the long term when the stadium opens. But for the fans in all stands, it's going to be a really special place for the next many years to come. It's going to be redesigned in many instances, new facilities, new corporate spaces, new fan spaces, but alongside that the players will see state-of-the-art facilities for them during match days. So it's a really all-encompassing redevelopment for many different groups.
When are we likely to see the first steps of development taking place, and when's it likely to be finished?
I think we'll hear a lot more over the next couple of months. We'll now go through a period of consultation with the key supporter groups from all different stands, but also the local residents. What we've got to make sure is that we design something that's really special for everybody involved. So over the next couple of months we'll hear a lot more about the design and the process we're making. We will then go into a planning permission, which will take a number of months, but you know, we're looking to start on site a year in May, subject to many different things falling into place, which will be rigorously put together over the next 2 months.
And for the fans coming to games, how is it likely to affect them coming to, you know, in the Peter Taylor stand particularly?
Well, I think everybody will feel a greater sense of excitement. Perhaps some of the facilities at the moment are geared around watching 90 minutes of football. What we'd like to do is create a much longer day out experience. So I'd hope the fans will come earlier, see different things, be part of experiences that they've not seen at the City Ground, whether that be museums, restaurants, bars, better facilities, and want to come back and spend more time here. So I think everybody, all different stands, all different places, not just the Peter Taylor stand, will see something really quite exciting.
And how many seats will that new stand have, and what will the overall capacity be? Well,
the target capacity that we're looking to do is 38,000, which makes us the largest stadium in the East Midlands, which is a really exciting proposition. The stand that we're talking about, the Peter Taylor stand, will be closer to 10 or 11,000 seats, and then as the pictures show, the Bridgewood will be looked at for additional seating, and we'll re-look at both the Trent End and Brian Clough to make sure not just the seats, but the spaces around them, the vestibule areas and the bars and the canteens and the toilets are all appropriate for the amount of people that are going to be in those stands.
And those extra spaces, is there likely to be some for our disabled supporters and those in wheelchairs and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. From the start of this, Mr Marinakis and Mr Komonakis have been incredibly clear that this is an all-inclusive community stadium catering for everybody and everybody's needs, and that's a really special target for us all, and absolutely right that the facilities for all groups of fans visiting will be re-looked at, made sure they're appropriate, both in terms of the view of the seats, for a view of the pitch, but also how they access their seats and the public spaces that they'll enjoy. So, you know, over the next 2 months, not only will the supporters club be talked to, we're going to be talking to everybody that's engaged in this football club and make sure they're all heard, and they will have their opportunity to shape the design of ultimately what is their ground as much as it is everybody else's.
And obviously the Peter Taylor stand is the main development. How's it likely to affect sort of season card holders in there currently? How's it going to affect their seat for the future?
So some of the work we'll be doing over the next couple of months is looking to minimise and mitigate as much unnecessary change as possible. You know, some fans who've been in this stand many years, and the last thing we want to do is alienate anybody during this process. So again, part of the consultation period we'll go through is looking at how we can move some of those fans, but also the construction of the stand. How do we reduce that length of period as much as possible to reduce the impact of the disruption? Clearly we need to make sure that the health and safety of all visiting fans, home and away, is not compromised during the construction period, and that will be paramount. But at the same time as that, we want to make sure this is as less impact as possible.
You've touched on it briefly already, but what kind of work are you looking to do at the other stands, you know, the Brian Clough, the Bridgewood and the Trent End?
The vision of the owner and the club is to make sure that everybody has a great experience. So if we take ourselves into the place, which is those fans, what we want to do as designers is work through that fan experience. So it'll be everything from how they access the stands, the staircases, the bars, the restaurants, the toilets, the facilities, their viewing positions. So I think what we'll look to do in the next couple of months and work with the fan groups is to put ourselves in the position of the fan. And clearly, having been a fan for 35 years and actually have had season tickets in all 4 different stands, I've got an understanding of some of the challenges, but some of the great opportunities that exist within those stands.
And you've mentioned the consultations that are going to take place. What does that exactly mean for fans, and what does it give them a chance to do?
On a very practical basis, that's getting people in a room and talking. And what we're looking to do is host a number of those, both at the ground, but in also perhaps the local towns where we know some of our fan base are based, but may not be able to access coming into the ground as frequently. And being honest and transparent with them, showing them the plans, listening back, hearing what they've got to say. Obviously, we can't accommodate everybody's requests and expectations, but there's a real opportunity over the next couple of months to shape the design in line with what people really want from their city ground.
Obviously, as well, it's going to have an impact on the surrounding areas. How supportive have the local councils been, and how is it going to affect the local economy as well?
I've been thrilled from the start that the City Council, under the leadership of John Collins, and then more locally for here, Rushcliffe, with the leader Simon Robinson, have understood that this is a huge opportunity, not just for the football club, but for the surrounding communities of Nottingham and West Bridgford. They've obviously protected some of the key moments, make sure we think about the highways and the traffic, but right from the start they've embraced what Mr Marinakis is looking to achieve here, which is create a community-based football club. And there's been some fantastic meetings, and I have to say, they've pushed hard, making sure we're responsible citizens in that respect and do the right things for the community. But it's a great relationship, and we certainly look forward over the next couple of months to intensifying some of those conversations with particularly Rushcliffe as we put the planning application together, because they appreciate a successful Nottingham Forest leads to a successful city of Nottingham.
And the fact that it's got such a wide-scale development as well would help in terms of jobs and boosting that local economy. Yeah,
Mr Marinakis was clear that he would like as much of the supply chain, those people involved in this construction, to come from Nottingham. So we're going to actively look over the next couple of months at how, when we put the spades in the ground, how much of that can benefit the local economy. In my experience, that could be 500 jobs locally created, which is a huge number at this moment in time. And obviously beyond that date, when the stand reopens and the stadium is refreshed, then we've got additional opportunities to employment for catering and for hospitality areas. So I think this is a twofold job creation. There's short-term jobs relating to the construction, but a long-term impact on the economy positively in terms of job creation and also income on match and non-match days.
You mentioned previously that you're a big Forest fan. You've been season card holders for many years. Yeah. How excited are you on a personal level about this project? If
I'm honest, it was a bit like Christmas morning this morning. I've been waiting to open the present and tell everybody for a long time. And I've been here, I've been to the FA Cup finals. I love this place. This is part of my heritage, and my father and my kids and my wife, we all come every week. So to be part of this is really a privilege, and I can't get it wrong. I can't come back for the next 40 Saturdays and hear criticisms or problems that I've created. So there's a responsibility for sure, but actually I know that the club and the owners are fully supportive of what we're all trying to achieve, and it feels like there's real momentum, both on the pitch and off the pitch. And every time I walk into the club, I am a fan, and I find it hard to sometimes distinguish between keeping the professional hat on and the fan hat. But rest assured, as a fan designing the stand and running a company that is going to oversee this, we're definitely going to make sure the fans are heard, and we get something really special from this.